Hello everybody, welcome to Snickerdoodle Stitch. My name is Kathleen and this is a channel about cross stitch. So today is actually Monday the 24th. It's late in the evening and I'm recording this early because I have a work trip coming up. I've got to fly out tomorrow morning, won't get back until late Friday, and then Saturday morning I'm heading up to spend a couple days with some quilting friends. There's a quilt convention up around the Hershey, PA area. These 2 weeks, starting this past weekend up through like 2 weekends from now, are crazy busy for me. This last weekend I went down and I had Friday off and I went to the 2 stitching shops in Baltimore and then stayed overnight down around Alexandria, Virginia, which is a southwestern suburb of DC. And then Saturday I got up and went to Stitching Post, so a third needlework cross stitch shop, and then I went to Woodlawn to see a needlework show there. So table meets at Sweater Weather, which is Rebel Stitchers Retreat, or was, I'm not sure she's having it this year or not, but she had it the last 2 years. And my table meets 2 years ago, and I saw them again last year, kept telling us, you need to check it out, it's a really cool needlework show. So I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end when I get into my haul and stuff. So I did that. Now I've got this work trip to Las Vegas. I'm hoping to get to Stitcher's Paradise just to check it off as one of the stitchy shops that I've managed to visit. Back home Friday night late, then I go up for this quilt retreat Saturday and Sunday, or convention. I was supposed to be there Thursday through Sunday, but then this work trip came up. So this work trip in the middle was not in place when I made all these other plans for these weekends. So that's Saturday and Sunday. Then I'm back home working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, I leave and go to northern New Jersey for needlework extravaganza, which reminds me I need to touch base with a friend and make sure she's still going. But I've got a lot of stitching done despite kind of some chaos stuff happening over the last week and a half. So, and it has only been a week and a half since I recorded. I'm doing this one early. I do sometimes record them early, but early like Thursday night, if I've got plans on Friday night. This time it's actually Monday night that I'm filming. Luckily, I did get a lot of stitching done and have some haul to show since I hit up 3 cross stitch shops and everybody had all of their stuff back from market. So I think everything I bought, we'll see when I get to it. I think, oh no, I did buy a couple clearance half off patterns at Needlecraft Corner, or Needlework Corner? Needlecraft Corner. But everything else that I bought were market releases, so you'll get to see some things that came out at market. I got, I think, almost everything that was on my wish list, and I had a much bigger wish list this year than I did last year, and I spotted a couple things that the release images must have come out after I stopped adding to my wish list because I had decided it was large enough. So lots of fun things to show. So I'm going to dive right into the stitching because I've got a lot of stitching to show. I've got haul to show, a couple things from Woodlawn, and I don't want to be too late tonight. I've got a really early morning flight tomorrow. So first thing, this was a start and a finish and an FFO. It is Mr. Bean's Garden, which is a pattern from Stitches by Ethel. And it's this really sweet bunny. Stitches by Ethel is the one that has a whole series of the mouse holding up something like a peppermint candy or candy corn, and there's a big crow that the mouse is holding it up to. I have several of those, and I plan to stitch them just the mouse holding out the candy, leaving the crow out. The crow just looms over the mouse to me and is a little creepy. But this is an Easter one, and I managed to whip it up partly because it has this little watering can, so I bought the charm that is used in the pattern, and I kept coming across this charm and I thought, if I don't get this stitched, I'm going to go to stitch it and I won't be able to find the darn charm. So I went ahead and stitched it, and here it is all finished. This is a frame from Marshall's Home Goods. They both have the same brand of frames. It's an Italian brand, and they always have this cool inlay. I've framed a couple other pieces in different styles of frames from the same Italian manufacturer, but this one I thought was perfect. It's pink, but it's a little bit on the peachy side, same as the pinks that are used in here. There's only two. There's only like 6 or 7 colors in this chart. It was a really simple, fast little stitch. It's all DMC, and I have it stitched on 28 count. I picked that because I knew it would fit in a 5x7 frame. 28 count Grace Notes. The name is Philip. And it is an interesting tan. There's no yellow at all in it, yellow or gold at all in it. It is very much more a gray brown in there, but I thought it worked really nicely for this little bunny. So I'll hold him up closer so you can see the stitching and see the little watering can charm there. I'm thrilled with him. And now I get to put them out for Easter. It's not like my usual getting them out right after the holiday is over. I do have it, I don't like the way it's stretched down in this corner, but I don't know that I care since it's just a small for Easter. Sorry, my index card with my notes keeps falling off. So this one only took a couple nights of stitching. It was pretty fast. But that's my finished Mr. Bean. This next one, this is a finish. It's not FFO though. I had one of these finished already, but I can't remember which one. These are the Chalk Squared from Hands On Design. So it's both of those. I don't have the charms, the May and August, and I don't really want the months on there. But I do have some buttons that I dug out that would work. Like this one on the pattern, they have some really tiny buttons stitched in there. And then when I was shopping this last weekend, I picked up this butterfly and these 2 little ladybugs. I really want 3 ladybugs. I like, just as a design principle, to use odd numbers, but the butterfly, after I bought it and I didn't have the patterns with me, I realized that one of these actually uses that butterfly. This one has the butterfly on it, so I probably will put the butterfly on this one. For the other one, so I bought the butterfly. And I bought 2 little teeny tiny, I don't know if you can see it in there, ladybugs. Here, I'll get it on the weight and then it'll show up. Teeny tiny ladybugs. And when I came home and I was digging through my pins, this is a different maker, but I do have a 3rd ladybug if I use it from the pin, or use the pin. And then I've had these, I've rated a couple for other things. Ever since I bought these patterns, I had planned on putting one of the little bee pins in this one. So I just need to get these assembled and again use the buttons and the pins before I lose them. Because little tiny things like that, that's always risky. So those patterns, again, it's Hands On Design. It's called Chalk Squared, and those were May and August. She had a series, so you could do them all on one big thing. I haven't decided how I'm going to finish them. The one that's more square, I may actually put in a small square frame. And the one that's round, that's the one that I want to use one of the bee pins in. So it will likely be some sort of round pincushion kind of thing. All right, this next one, this was my birthday start. And I need to look because somebody else was starting this. Stitch, read, repeat, maybe? I had planned it for a birthday start, so it was Rosewood Manor, Cornwall Cottage Sampler. And that's the pattern, and this is a big pattern. So I'm stitching it on 32 count, and the stitched square will be a little over 18 by 18. So this is a big one. And I am using Vicki Clayton Silks. It doesn't use very many colors. It's another one that I think there's only like 6 colors. Yep, 6 colors. So these are the silks. So Vicki Clayton Silks come on spools. You'll see in a little bit I have another piece that I'm actually stitching with these that I left on the spools. And then I saw Gary from Garon Stitchery talking about taking them off, and I decided to go ahead and do that because the spools are kind of a pain in the neck. You know, if you cut a length off and you separate out the 2 strands that you want to use and you've got your 4 strands left, do you wind it back around that spool, which is what I've done with the other piece. The other piece I'm stitching has a lot more colors, and so I don't know that I would do this all the time. Take them all off the spools and put them on Flosstops, but this worked nicely. This is multiple spools of each color, and so this way I can pull from different spools and know that I've got a good blend of colors too, but they are still just dreamy silks to work with. So nice. And for silks, they're reasonably priced. So they do conversions for Gentle Arts, Classic Colorworks, Week Dye Works. They do conversions for all of the overdyed cottons to silks is what she has. So here's my piece, and you can see it's huge. And this was a couple nights stitching. It's actually a lot of stitching, but it doesn't look like a lot of progress because it is only the one upper corner. This is the inner part, so that frame is that wide, but it's gonna finish at 18 by 18. This is 32 count fiber on a whim, cream and sugar. This is what last episode I talked about ordering a large piece of this so that it would be more cost effective just to cut out what I needed. And then I also had a big piece that I was stitching that a fat quarter wasn't enough for, because the stitch part is 18 by 18. I needed it to be, you know, 24 by 24, 25 by 25, something like that. So a fat quarter is not big enough. You had to have a fat half. But I love, oh, okay, it's just a straight thread there. All right, I'll pick it off later. But I love cream and sugar. It's one of my favorites. It's nice to stitch on. They maintain the integrity of the linen really nicely. Fiber on a Whim does. And it's just a nice soft cream with very subtle modeling. So I like it. Here it is up closer so you can see those yummy silks. They just lay so beautifully. I love those. And all that variegation in the greens. There are only 2 greens in there. But the spool has some considerable amount of variegation in it, so you just get this really nice effect. We're really happy with that. So that was my birthday start. My birthday was earlier this month. I have another start, but before I do the start, since we were talking about the Vicki Claytons, my other piece with the Vicki Claytons is, you've seen this before, this is not a start, the Blackbird Design Strawberry Fields Forever. and I bought the silk conversions for it, for the Vicky Clayton silks, but I've left them all on the spools. Now, I like them this way and this kind of container because I can actually see the name of each of the flosses on the side here. I mean, you can't see it, but the name's there, like that's Quill Pig. So it makes it easy to locate the one that I need, especially some of these, like there's 3 reds here that I couldn't just look at the pattern and pick out which one from here. I've got to look at the names to grab the right one. But you can see I've had to like wind things back around the spool. It's a bit of a pain in the neck. Much easier to manage this way, where I've got them on floss drops. I put the number on the back. Here's actually one of the stickers from the spool. I stuck it up here, and then I've just drawn the symbols. So like that's just a solid square, you know, here's a crazy little flower, and again the number in the sticker, and that way I can just look for the symbol and pull the floss that I need. But I got a good deal done on this. So this is done on 32 count Lakeside Linen Navy Bean. And what I got done is all of these vines and berries and stuff in the middle. So I had the frame done. I had the house done. I was actually working on the house, but you'll see when I hold it up closer, there's a lot more to do on the house, but I was planning to take this for my library stitching once a month, but I haven't been able to go the last couple months. But this is just some nice block stitching. Like this roof is just going to be a big chunk, and so it's good stitching when I'm distracted. So filling in the windows and doing that roof, I'll leave those. But I decided that the vine part I may want to get a good chunk done here at home. And then of course when I got working on it, I just kept working on it. I'm sort of all over the place on it. There's still pieces missing in that vine. I would pull a color, and so I didn't have to wind it back on the spool. I would stitch everything that I could easily count toward in that same color, and then I would move on to a different color, and I maybe went back to 1 or 2 of the colors again. But good progress on this one. So there's some big motif. This is a peacock up here, and there is some more vines and the house, and then this would be that vase that I plan on leaving out, but I want to get everything else stitched in, and then I'm going to pull the vine down and put some leaves or berry or something just to fill in the white space instead of having that big vase. But really happy with the way that's coming out. Let's see if I can get the colors to, if I get too close, the colors distort. But that's that piece. All right, this next piece, is this my last one? Nope, I got 2 more. I don't remember now why I started this, but I did. It is Jeanette Douglas ABC Sampler. This is the pattern. I will say one of the things with Jeanette Douglas patterns, she typically does them all in silks, and they're all over the place. Like this has Gloriana, it's got Classic Colorworks, it's got Thread Gatherer, it's got MPI, it's got Soie. So what I really want to get down to are these specialty stitches. And her books have very nice diagrams for each of the specialty stitches. Like I can't show you, but the pattern itself is just in like the centerfold on 2 pages. And all the rest of this book is how to do all these specialty stitches. So what I did for stitching this one, I just went through and pulled a bunch of dinky dies. I had bought a D-Stash. These are the ones that I've used. That's why they're not all twisted cute anymore. I bought a D-Stash of dinky dies, and so they're all just random colors. This is not all of them. It was a huge bag of them. I got really cheap on eBay, I think. And so I just went through and pulled colors. And the pattern itself used like 30 colors. So if it had like a blue, I pulled a blue. If it had like a gold color, I pulled a yellow or a gold, that kind of thing. Mine are much brighter colors, obviously. It's maybe a little too bright, but it's all right. So I got started on the alphabet, and I got done through H. So I've got the whole top part done. Probably well, yeah, I am a third of the way through the alphabet, but I am size-wise too, but also just counting the letters. So those are all just random dinky dies, or there are some silks in there that I don't know who they were, from D-Stashes or things people gave away at retreats. I have no idea what the brand is, what the color is, anything. So this is it, and it is on 36 count weathered stone. So that's an atomic ranch. It's the atomic ranch that I kept trying to get more of, and it kept arriving looking more green like this than what I originally had. I've talked about it multiple times. The green is very nice too, but it's not the color that I kept trying to get hold of. I've since decided that the 28 count just takes the dye very differently. And that's why this looks more green. The 32 and 36 do look more green. But that's that. I debated, so EJ from Sunshine Stitchers is stitching this. And she's got a collection of silks that she just grabbed, not the called for. And she is using one of the wheel spinners on her phone to spin, and that tells her what color to use. Mine, in the chart, if it was a green A, I pulled one of my greens. And, you know, if it has some orange in it, and I didn't really pull orange. Then I've got red in there, and it had a gold color, and it had a bluish color. So I stayed with the same color, but mine are not in the same family. They're much brighter than what's on the chart. But anyway, that's my start, and the 36 count is really nice to work on. I am using 2 strands. 36 for me, and 18 count Ada even more so, are one of those ones where I really struggle with. One strand doesn't cover as much as I want. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, do I only have 1 strand? I'm second guessing myself. I might have lied. This might be 1 strand. 1 strand is what people would normally use on 36, but I don't always like the coverage. I think the silk is providing more coverage, and that's why I'm looking at it thinking it's 2, but it is 1 strand. 18 count Ada using cotton floss. I hate the coverage if I use 1 strand. If I use 2 strand, I hate the drag of pulling it through, so I can't win with 18 count. All right, the last thing I stitched on, oh geez, it's another start. Believe it or not, I am still ahead on finishes. I might be close right now. My rule was that I couldn't end this year with more than with more whips than I started with, and I think I'm probably about pretty even. All right, so Spring Quaker from Primrose Cottage. I started this one last year when I went to Oregon to go on the Alaska cruise, and I finished this one. So here it is all finished. This is 1/1 on 28 count white Lugana, and the color on this one is Belsois Watermelon, which I love. I like the variegation. I like, you know, it is just a nice melon color. It's not hot pink like Pepto. It's coming across a little more hot pink than it is. It's a little warmer. It has a little more peach in it than what it's looking like on camera, but so yeah, I got springtime done. So I have springtime done, I have summertime started, and I'm gonna stitch on it on my way to Las Vegas this week. And then I have not started winter, and I just started, so I finished spring, and I started Valentine's Day Quaker. Again, from Primrose Cottage. They're all the same size. And this one's still in a hoop. Let me not lose my needle or I'll have a fit. Oh, I do have an extra needle in here. So I want to stitch, I'll stitch this one some more when I'm on my way to Vegas, and I'll stitch summertime on my way home, but I got it started. So the outside border, I wasn't thrilled with the red. It is Classic Colorworks Belsois Tulip, and again, it's 1/1 on 28 count white Lugana. And what I wasn't liking about the Belsois is there wasn't, this is like the later red that's in it. It's one of the ones that's light to dark red. But there wasn't very much light, but I grabbed a different skein of it that I had in stash, and it's got a bigger segment of the light, bright red. So I was liking it better. It was just looking too dark on this white, and I was regretting my color choice. But so you'll be seeing these two, the Spring Quaker and the, no, not the Spring Quaker. The Spring Quaker is done. You'll be seeing the Summer Quaker and the Valentine's Day Quaker, which I plan on putting all of these in a bowl together year round, and I picked my floss colors out so that they would all go together in this little bowl. So I don't plan on only using this at Valentine's Day, which is why I was okay with going ahead and stitching it. I'm gonna put somewhere different because that's got to go in my carry-on for tomorrow. All right, that was all my stitching. I want to show a little bit of haul and talk a little bit more about Woodlawn. So Woodlawn is a mansion. It was for one of George Washington's granddaughters. And by today's standards, it would just be a very big house. There's probably 4 rooms on the first floor and 4 rooms on the second floor, not including bathrooms, or I don't even remember a kitchen. Woodlawn is empty of furniture, so it's not the kind of historic house that you would go and it's set up with period pieces and things like that. If I'm remembering right from the website, it may actually be an event space now, but for the month of March every year, they have a needlework show there, and people from all over the country, I think they say 30 some states and 3 countries, you send in your needlework, and it is not juried to get into. They display everything they get from what I could tell, but then it is judged. And they have different categories. So they've got adults, they've got seniors meaning 70 and over, and there were some gorgeous tiny count pieces done by 70+ year olds. I was so jealous. there are counts that my eyes can't really see that well to do, and I got a ways to go to hit 70. Junior stitchers, and then there's everything from, it was predominantly cross stitch followed closely by needlepoint, but then there was beading, there were beautiful smocked little girls dresses, there was some hand embroidered clothing pieces, there were a few quilts there. They do have a quilt category, but it's fairly small quilts. I think the restriction was like the perimeter couldn't be more than 120 inches or something like that. 140 inches, I forget. It's fairly small. And they hang chains. They hang chains, and then from the chains they hang the needlework pieces. So they're sort of floor to ceiling through this entire house. And different rooms have different themes. Like there was a Christmas theme room. All the beach themed things were on as you went upstairs. So they sort of organized by theme, but just gorgeous stitching. Incredible pieces. The one that won Best in Show was, it's a full coverage. I'm going to guess hands-on design, but I don't know that for sure. And it was only about this big, but it's 1/1 on like 28 count. And it might have only been 10 stitches. And it was a fox, and the blending and the detail on this fox was incredible. I want to put together like a short video of the show. I took some photographs, I took some film. It's going to take more editing work than I'm going to have time to get done for this. So I may just push it out separately just as a small vignette of like a short of Woodlawn. But if you're ever in the area, it's in the DC area in Alexandria. Actually, I guess Springfield. Oh, it does say Alexandria. There's a Frank Lloyd Wright house right next door. I bought the combo ticket so I could tour that. I love Frank Lloyd Wright houses. And when I went upstairs, I saw my friend Grace, who's one of the retreat table mates who first told me about the show. But well worth the visit for anyone ever in that area in the month of March. And I did buy, so the show is hosted by Nellie's Needlers. That's a tongue twister. Do I have that right? Nellie's Needlers. And they also make things that then get sold in the gift shop there. So this is a fundraiser for Woodlawn. And I did buy, and I'm guessing if you went earlier in the month, there probably would be a lot more there in the shop. But I did buy this little Keeper of the Pins pin cushion. I have seen this pattern before. I just thought it was sweet. And the hand stitched stuff in the shop was very reasonably priced, so I thought that was cute. I don't know who made it, but really sweet little piece. So I will definitely go back again, especially with the timing with market having just happened. It was a good time to go down and see what was new at the shops, check out that show. Yeah, the book had a coupon in it for 20% off one item at Stitching Post, which is only about 1.5 miles, 2 miles from Woodlawn. And so I went to Stitching Post Saturday morning, then went and did Woodlawn, but then I went back to Stitching Post because there was a pattern that I really wanted, but I wasn't sure I wanted to spend the money. But then when I got the 20% off coupon, I decided I did need it. So I will show you now my stash. I hold a stitching piece out. I forgot that I stuck that in here. Let me just rearrange a bit here. All right, this was a total impulse buy. It was up at the register at Stitching Post and it was half off. It's this little tin. I did see you can buy these on Amazon for about the price I paid, but it had a little half off sticker, and I just thought it was sweet. It's this is a needle case. You got the scissors and all, the thimble, and then the big thing is what the heck this is. So you can see the size, right? See how thick it is? So on the box, it says it's a syringe. So something's lost in translation. This is called European Classical Sewing Box, but yeah, this is not a syringe, I assure you. When I looked on Amazon, some of the sites are calling it a needle threader. I have no idea what needle that's gonna thread. So then some people in the reviews on Amazon were speculating, like, would you use it for darning? What the heck is this? Anybody? It's pretty, but it's of a size that I can't figure out, and nobody in the Amazon reviews either could figure out what the heck you do with it. The scissors are nice. I really like the little needle case, and it does stay on pretty nicely. Has a nice snug fit. So yeah, I did not need that. That was a total impulse buy. They're under $20 on Amazon. Just search European Classical Sewing Box, and this same exact thing comes up. I only looked for it. I Googled European Classical Sewing Box because I wanted to see what the heck the online descriptions were, to see what they were describing as a syringe. I can't even think what would mistranslate to syringe. No idea. All right. I bought one piece of fabric. I was good. So this is a new fabric from Fiber on a Whim. It's called Dolomite, and that color is actually coming through pretty nicely. Wow, okay, not that way. Too much light's gonna show through. It is a very nice melon peachy pink. I pulled this out just to show, well, now, of course, now this is looking more pink. So this is red pear, and this is really the same color as red pear, just paler. It's not looking that way on camera. It's maybe a skosh more peach, but it's not the difference that it's looking like here. So my plan of showing what it looked like against red pear is a big fail, but it's close to red pear. It's just lighter. But it's nice to have a pink, because this is pink. It's nice to have a pink that isn't like ballet pink, like, or Pepto pink. This is definitely a peachier, more melon pink, which is nice. And I don't have any in stash. I had trouble getting hold of red pear when I wanted to stitch these. So I do have a small piece of red pear left, but I know I didn't have anything that kind of pink, and I've looked for it before, so I did snatch some of that up. And again, it's Dolomite, and I bought it in 32 count because that's, if I'm going to have it in stash without any definite plans, especially in an odd color, 32 count is the safest count for me to grab. All right, this was not on my market shopping list. I don't know if I saw it or if it didn't catch my eye, but it's from Cherry Blossoms, and it's called the Vintage Hair, and it kind of looks like a chocolate bunny to me, but I like that. And I have a wooden egg shape. Last year at Needlework Extravaganza, in our gift bag, they had wooden eggs, which were fairly large, but this on 16 count finishes at 7 1/4 by 9. So I think it may be about the right size. So I've got to dig out that egg. The proportions may be slightly different. But I think as long as I know that, I can even make adjustments on the pattern. You know, put a couple more twigs or flowers or something to make something wider or narrower. So that's my plan for that, is to put it on the wood egg that they gave us for finishing. This next one is also a bunny. This was one of the first things I saw in the market releases, and as soon as I saw it, I wanted it. I fell in love with this bunny. This is from Puntini, and it's called Spring Animals Trio. And there's 3 cute animals on there. You got the cow, the lamb, and the bunny, but look at that bunny. I love that bunny. And rabbits do have big eyes. And part of it is the big eye thing. Makes me think of the movie The Courtship of Eddie's Father, and Ron Howard doesn't like his dad's girlfriend because she has squinty eyes. He likes the lady that lives downstairs, I think, the neighbor, because she has big eyes. But that's that one. This one I had not seen. But Hands-On Design Ladybug Picnic. I think it's like a companion piece to the bee that I did last year. So I picked this up at the first store that I was at. Second store. And then I did see that it was out at Stitching Post, so I have a feeling this is one of the popular ones this year. I picked up the cookbook. I like cookbooks anyway. Not that I cook that often, it's just me. But I do like looking at the recipes that people have, and there are usually some cute little patterns in here, and it's a lot of patterns. You know, there's probably, I don't know, 30 or 40 smalls in here. How many pages is this? 67 pages. So there's not a pattern on every page, but it's a little more than every other page. So yeah, there's probably 40 patterns and some good looking recipes. So I just have fun reading these as well. This one was not on my list. This one is Pansy Patch Quilts, and it is called Honeybee Sampler. And I did buy some floss to do it in. I didn't want as brown as what is in the picture. I wanted something more golden, so that's what I've picked out. I looked at this one at all 3 shops, I think, or 2 of them at least. And I kept coming back to it over and over again, and finally decided that I would go ahead and buy it. That was one I did think about for a long time. This one was on my shopping list. This one is Luminous Fiber Arts, a Stitcher's Quaker. That's the pattern. And I pulled a piece that sits out in my dining room, but I stitched this last year, and it's a nice companion piece. So my plan is to stitch this, and then I likely will keep them out together. And I spray painted this frame red, so I can do the same color frame. Different style. That needs to go over there. All right, what do I have left? All right, this is the one that I really wanted. But it was a little bit pricey. And so I went back and forth on it, but it's a Jeanette Douglas and it's called Stitches Be Sweet. And I love this one. I had a photo that I had snagged from a screen looking at it before Nashville Market. And then every one of these shops had it and it was catching my eye. I realized it's partly the colors. But I do like samplers, but I don't usually like some of the motifs. And this one, I liked all of the motifs that were in here. I love the colors, and so I decided to go ahead and get it. I went back, this is what I went back and got with my 20% off coupon from the Woodlawn book that they give you, the program book kind of thing. So when it had the coupon in it, I was like, okay, I'll go get it. I really wanted it. It was expensive enough that I thought I can't buy it, or I didn't want to buy it just to have it in stash. If I bought it, I needed to stitch it. And so then when it had the coupon, I was like, okay. And I did buy the 3 pinks that are in it, which I know is part of what keeps attracting me to this pattern. So I wanted to make sure that I had those. And again, it's Jeanette Douglas, so it's silks and it's all different brands. My plan is just to pull from stash for the colors other than the pinks. But the pinks, I wanted what's in here because I know, like I said, that's what keeps drawing me to this pattern, are those deep, dark roses in there. So, and these last 2, I bought half off at Needlecraft Corner. It's another Pansy Patch quilts. This must be my spring of Pansy Patch quilts because the exclusive design for Stitch North is Pansy Patch quilts. So I have a pattern and floss and fabric to pick up when I'm at Stitch North in May. And I want to actually stitch on it while I'm there. So yeah, it's a Pansy Patch Quilts kind of year. So this one is called Winter Garden at Cranberry Manor. She has all different seasons of them. But, let me cover my face so it'll focus. I like the colors in this one. I like the little snowmen tucked in there. I'm not as crazy about the spring and summer and fall. I think this is the last season, maybe. Maybe not. I'm thinking all 4 seasons are out now. At least 3 are out. And they're all like that same size house and everything in there. But the winter is the only one that I really, really want. And then the other one that I got half off, and I've looked at this pattern. I know people stitching this one. It's Jan Hicks Creates Arabesque. I know Stitching by the Shore is stitching this. I think maybe my friend Candy wanted to stitch this. I know we talked about this one when everybody settled on Put a Bird on It, which I didn't get to stitch on this time. Oh, I stitched on something I didn't bring in here. I'll have to show it next time. I get down to the hotel in Virginia and I have Put a Bird on It with me, and that's what I planned on stitching. And I get it out, I get it on my Q-snap. I realized that I didn't have anything to hold the fabric out of the way, and it's a pretty large piece of fabric. It's a pretty big piece. And I didn't have a needle. So I'm like, well, I'm not gonna get any stitching done. I don't have like half of what I need. What the heck was I doing? Well, then I remembered that I had bought a Satsuma Street Christmas ornament kit, which is a little mouse on a it's actually a round Christmas ball shape and this little mouse on it. So I was like, okay, I'll steal the needle out of that. Well, then I got it out, and it does have a needle with it, but I still didn't have anything to wrangle this fabric on the Put a Bird on It and hold it out of the way. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stitch on the Satsuma Street ornament and Put a Bird on It. We'll have to get some love a different weekend. So I stitched on the Satsuma Street ornament, and I don't have it in here, and I do remember why. It's because it's packed in an overnight bag for next weekend, because I'm like unpacking and packing for multiple trips. It's a little chaotic around here right now. So put a bird on it. I haven't gotten any more stitching done on, and I still need to catch up. I'm done through like January, so I'm about half of the way. They started December, so the whole top third should be done, and I'm about halfway across the top third. So I need to have another good stitchy session on that one to catch up. Maybe Needle Fest Extravaganza. That might be some good stitching for there. It's a single color. It is a lot of counting, but it is single color. And it's on Lugana. Yeah, we'll see. But, or maybe it'll just I'll just catch up stitching it here at home. But anyway, oh, I know, because I said we talked about maybe doing this one before we settled on put a bird on it. But this arabesque is a beautiful pattern. I've seen it done in different colors. And I do like single color stitching. So, and that was just very different. The whole thing is very distinctive. So I want to stitch on that. So, and it was half off. So I think that's everything that I have for this week. And next time I'm back, I will have done Vegas. I'll have done a quilt convention. I don't know if I'll have anything to show for that. I'm trying not to spend money on quilting because I haven't been quilting that much. Although I do have a couple quilt things that I'll show next time. I don't have very much stitchy things, cross stitch things. And when I record next, it will be after Needle Fest Extravaganza. So hopefully I won't come back with too much haul from there, but hopefully I'll have lots of stitching. That one is 3.5 full days of stitching. So should be able to get a good amount done. So I hope you all are getting some good stitching in, and let me know what you have bought from the market releases. I think one person said they hadn't bought many patterns, but something with silks had caught their eye. So I don't know if they were buying silks. I looked to see what flosses were released, but I was only seeing the new Weeks Dye Works, Classic Color Works, and it wasn't Gentle Arts, it was something else. Some new cottons, but I didn't see any new silks out, but it's possible that the shops just didn't add those. So anyway, what are you all buying at market? I need to watch a couple of the videos too of like the shops that have brought things back, like Gary and Ronnie from Garon Stitchery will have brought back all kinds of stuff from market, and I like to see what they're showing there too. Not that I need to have anything else catch my eye, but anyway, I hope you are enjoying your stitching, and I will see you all in 2 weeks. Bye!